From the town of Tyngsborough, I'm Rona Camille, and this is Entering Tyngsborough. Coming up on the podcast, we sit down with Robb Kydd, Tyngsborough's Town Moderator, to talk about how he helps manage one of the nation's oldest form of government.
Front with the gavel, which I seldom use, and I want discourse, I want back and forth, I want an informed voter in the room so they know what they're voting for and why, but my job is to be neutral.
Robb Kydd, Mr. Town Moderator, welcome to Tyngsborough's back porch, or front porch, rather. How are you, sir?
I am well.
Fantastic.
Getting ready for a town meeting coming up in a week.
That's right. While we're taping this, we are about a week away from Tyngsborough's annual town meeting, the 200th blah, blah, blah. I usually keep the number in the top of my head how many town meetings we've had.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I say annual. So Tyngsborough is about 217
1789?
17 years. So 217 years?
Something like that.
Something like that. So
I have not been moderator that long.
How long have you been the town moderator?
Since June of 86.
June. That is quite a chunk of time.
It was
sliver amount of time in history, but
Absolutely.
But
It was never part of the plan, but here I am.
so for the folks that are listening and watching, what exactly is the town moderator?
A very neutral voter. Neutrality. What does he do? He's at the front with the gavel, which I seldom use, and I want discourse, I want back and forth, I want an informed voter in the room so they know what they're voting for and why, but my job is to be neutral.
So take us back to 1987, 86. Take us to, how did you, first of all, did you always live in Tyngsborough, and how did you fall into, I want to know more about the town moderator. How did you get into this role?
I'm a Chelmsford boy, grew up
Yeah.
in Chelmsford, and moved to Tyngsborough in 84. And in spring of 85 or fall of 85, wanted to get involved. And I'm a business major, so I was going to jump on the finance committee. And my neighbor, Linda Bown, who's still a character in town,
Yes.
said, "Oh, you don't want to be on the finance committee. All you do is tell people no. Our moderator just moved to Dunstable. Would you do that?" Having no idea what the moderator did, I jumped onto it, got Robert's Rules of Order, read that, and there you go.
And what is, for people that, don't know what that is, what is Robert's Rules?
It's just the basics of majority and the different parts that make a town meeting work and make any meeting work, not
Yes.
just town meeting.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. And so you got on.
I got on.
You got elected to it?
It's an elected position. No one runs against the town moderator. Folks don't want that job, it seems. If someone were to run against me, I would congratulate them and step aside. So if anyone's interested, maybe now's your turn.
See, people seem to be happy at what you do. You've been doing it
Or
for
happy
that long.
enough that they don't want to do it.
That too.
But again, my job is to be neutral.
That too.
I will say my first night
Yeah.
was when the high school was approved.
Oh, that's a big ticket item.
That was a biggest at the time, and a huge town meeting. It was quite an undertaking, and I just hung in there.
Walk us through that, because we are actually at Tyngsborough Media have a library of DVDs and VHS tapes that we are the undertaking digitizing them. We may have that meeting.
Oh,
we may
boy.
not. If we do, it'd be a nice little Wayback Machine moment. But walk us through that night. It's your first time.
My first night, it was scary, no question about it.
And back then, there was no internet. So there was no way of you referencing an old town meeting or another town to go to. Did you go to Chelmsford, and have you ever gone to town meetings
I had
before?
never gone to town meeting before I became moderator.
Okay. And for the folks at home who may not know how Tyngsborough operates, town meeting is how the townspeople, go ahead and fill in the blanks.
Well, I'm going to say, and we're an open town meeting as opposed to a representative town meeting, which means any registered voter in Tyngsborough, please attend. If you're not a registered voter, you can still show up. You cannot vote, of course, and I want you right down front so I can keep an eye on you, but I recommend that you get your registered vote and come on and be part of it. Again, open town meeting. Anyone shows up.
And so let's get to the schematics down first. So there are some business items. You open the Pledge of Allegiance business items, and then people just say, there's an explanation of sorts.
Well, there's a warrant. Everyone's got a copy of it.
Yep.
And we just go article by article by article in the warrant. And once I speak it, and we do, or the person that has petitioned for the warrant speaks on it for a moment, I open it up for discussion. I give it a good 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. If I don't hear anything, that's it, and then we go and vote on it. Most of the time there's discussion, certainly on some of the later warrant articles, and we go from there. And when we feel that we have said all that can be said, discussion ends and a vote starts. I try to go for a voice vote because that's quickest. Hand is next quickest. Of course, a secret or a paper ballot can waste 20 minutes to a half hour, so I try to avoid those.
Got it. And how do you decide the order of the warrants or the order of the meetings or the events?
No, that's
How's
usually
that
the selectmen. Some of those warrant articles can be citizen petitions, but the selectmen decide.
Meaning a resident can draft
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, that's great. All right, let's go back to Wayback Machine.
Okay.
That night, 86.
86.
So spring of 86, so May of 86.
Right.
So this is the high school.
Well, remember, this is the high school. We're voting on the high school.
High school.
So it was in the Norris Elementary School where we had the meeting.
The Norris Elementary School.
Next door.
Which is
Being
the current middle school.
The current
which
middle
will
school.
be demolished.
It has an auditorium.
Yep.
It's not that big. And then we also had a remote in the gymnasium because you couldn't fit. There was like 900 people out that night.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Wow. What's the mood like in there? What was the temperature?
Oh, it was hot. Typically, and it's so often the case that you think, well, May's not that hot. It just often seems that you got to have doors open. And of course, if a meeting is hot temperature, sometimes the meeting gets hot too in a different sense.
Sure. And
But we worked our way through it. I don't recall any details other than that the high school passed, and off I went.
wow.
No kidding. That was probably the biggest meeting I've ever moderated.
Well,
The first one.
There have been others throughout
No, but
the years.
I mean body count.
Body count.
Yeah, folks.
Well, the big one, the middle school one was
That was pretty big.
there was
and
a
that was
lineup.
outside. Of course, some of those were outside.
That
weren't
was
they?
the one. There was a line out the door, and town meeting started late.
Yes, I struggle with that. So how do I handle that? At 7:00, I'll see who's last in line, and then I'm going to start the meeting when that person comes in the door. You were never going to be there if you came at 7:05.
Right.
You had no intention of being there when the meeting starts. So I'm not going to punish the folks that get there early.
Sure.
Now you'd say, well, yeah, but you got to wait for everyone to get in. But okay, someone shows up 7:15, and now I wait. No.
No.
And there's a lot of small business items that typically start the meeting anyway.
Sure.
The Pledge of Allegiance, as you said, and a couple other things. Sometimes there's an honorary guest or someone that's retiring. We'll do some of that at the front end. But yeah, I'll decide, okay, that person is at the back of the line at 7:00, and we work our way in from there.
What's the most difficult part of being the town moderator in that space?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have a direct answer to that. I mean, there certainly have been heated issues. I can't say enough about it. I have to show neutrality at all costs. That's if I lose that, you lose the meeting. You just have to be neutral. Can't say enough about that. And I don't know that that's so hard to do anymore. Beyond that, I like the discourse. I like the back and forth because that educates the voter.
Right.
Now, oftentimes they say, oh, they come in already knowing. I bet sometimes they're swayed, maybe just a little, by what they might hear on the floor.
Have there been any time, Rob, where you're standing there at the podium, the lectern, and I mean, you say you have to be neutral,
Absolutely.
right?
Why do you go there, Ronnie?
Anytime you just look at yourself like, did that happen? Do you look back and go, did this happen?
I'll tell you, at the end of the night, I'll come home and I can't always tell you exactly what happened, which way some of the votes went, because I'm so focused on, again, my being neutral and the back and forth and the mechanics of the meeting.
Sure.
I mean, I almost should be writing down how they turned out. Thank heaven the town clerk's there.
Right, taking the minutes and the records.
Right,
But anytime you look back and you look at the way people just either they've been coming to town meeting for years or it's their first time, do you look back and just say, are you just baffled? Or are you just kind of, all right, it is what it is? Or
I don't know if I have an answer for that. Sorry.
no, don't be.
There's been a few surprises. It's been fun to watch the town grow. One of my favorite things that has happened in the last 20 years through town meeting was the approval of the CPC, the Community Preservation Act. And Tyngsborough was smart enough to jump on it in its first year, 2000 or 2001 or somewhere in that area, at the full 3%. And the change is so evident around town.
That's great.
So that's fun stuff to watch as a moderator and say, yeah, I was part of that. It's good to see it.
In addition to being a town moderator, you're also on the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I am.
And we're not going to jump too much into that,
Sure.
but what's that like? You've seen the growth of the town. What's that like as well, being on that board?
Well, of course, that board is not the planning board. So you go to the Zoning Board of Appeals if you want to do something that the town says you can't do. So that's the only reason why you go there. Now, oftentimes that might just be that you want to put a deck inside of what the town says should be 30 feet off your side yard or whatever. But again, it's fun watching changes. I've been on that board long enough to watch all the 40B projects come in and to see Tyngsborough get to its 10% and actually beyond that figure of affordable housing in town.
Yep, thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, and maybe a better term is affordable housing sounds like it's a Section 8 situation. That's not really the case at all. These are housing for folks that make 80% of the area income.
Got it. Okay.
And Tyngsborough's done well with that. We, as a board, would encourage more of these. And I know people shudder when I say that, but it allows us to, of course, we're in the driver's seat now. We can choose exactly how that next 40B, if one comes along, is going to be, and it helps us get our numbers up. And any large project in town that comes along, we have inclusionary zoning, which means part of the zoning of that project would include some affordable component.
So, as an elected, how do you encourage participation among the residents, the people that actually have the power to vote and participate, whether it's a town meeting or the various, regulatory board? You've done this a long time, and you've noticed, there one year 900 people show up, another year
100, maybe
125. Do you play a part in trying to get people to town meeting to be participating, not to more of sway of whatever issue that may be on the warrant, but to just say, hey, this is your opportunity to speak?
I can't say enough about you get a chance to watch the town grow and be part of it. And I challenge everyone that listens to this podcast to think about what your strengths are, and then maybe even go outside of that box, because was kind of my start. My strength was in finance and business, but I'm the moderator. Nothing to do with finance and business. So don't just say, well, this is my strength and I only go with that. Look on the listing, and I'm sure there's on the website, of committees that need members. I know even Board of Appeals, it needs at least one and maybe two alternates. And you'll find that your opportunity to jump in and be involved. And I think it pays back everything the time that you spend.
Do you?
And not financially. The payback is just watching the change and watching your town grow, and you have a voice in that growth.
When you're sitting at that podium, a lectern, are you educating? How do you assist the body in understanding the complexity of what is being presented, or do you let that to the select board or finance committee or whomever is presenting?
As far as educating, what, like on one article? Let's just talk about one.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually during the explanation, and of course the reading of it, you learn what it's about. If it seems vague, I will throw in things either as a question or as a comment to the proposer and see how that flies, because if I don't understand it, there may be two or three in the room that also don't understand it. And then it goes off from there. And then typically the discussion brings out even more questions and answers.
And does that usually help? Do people kind of, is there more of a comprehension?
That's the plan. Now, there are some times that I don't get discussion, and I'm not comfortable with it. So you're kind of going there, and I understand that. And I will throw that out there. Are we understanding what we're voting for here, folks? I'm not afraid to throw that stuff out there. This is money we're spending or a zoning change we're making. Do we all understand it? So that's important to me that folks understand what they're voting for. Again, most folks, especially nowadays, we can just go online and get the warrant. They've gone through it before. We have pre-meetings that they can go to, get some of those questions out. I think those meetings are very helpful.
What are some of the challenges that you face?
Age. No. No. I can't hop up on the stage like I used to.
You still have that energy, though.
Thank you. Thank you. The jitters. You think, all these years?
Really? You get
yes.
jitters
yes.
getting up there?
Oh, yes. Not during the meeting, as the meeting starts. Just getting it going again and, okay, what's going to happen and how this has happened, and then off you go.
Huh.
So, again, that's part of it, and that's all right. And I, again, encourage folks that are interested in either moderator, because I will give it up at some point, or Board of Appeals or any of the other boards. There might be jitters, and that's all right. You're human.
Interesting. I never thought. Never would have thought in a million.
Just cool as a cucumber up
right.
there. Huh?
I go up to you and kind of give you the briefing, and then right on the dot at 7, you just, okay, folks, we're going to start. And sometimes we're not even ready to go. And like, well, he's ready to go, so hit record. Let's go.
Again, I think of those folks that get there at 6:30 and 6:45. We deserve to start that meeting on time, unless there's folks waiting out the door, and that does happen occasionally. We like to start at 7. Maybe it's done. Maybe I get you home at 8 or 8:30.
I will say, you've done this, obviously going back quite a long time. Are you surprised by the length of time sometimes a meeting goes, or sometimes how short it is?
Both can surprise me. We've never gone 2 nights in all my years.
Knock on
I know,
wood.
knock on wood. This will be the one.
Knock on
This
air.
will be the
No,
one.
don't.
This will be the one. We have gone late, and I've questioned folks. It'll get to be like 10:30, and we've got 2 more warrant articles. And I said, folks, it is getting, the hours 10:30. It's getting late for me. Can we hang in there for 2 more and get this thing done? And absolutely, boom, boom.
That's great.
Yep.
Wow. What is one piece of advice you would give the next person?
The next person. Neutrality. I know it sounds boring and I keep saying it. That's the key. Don't lose your cool. There's folks there to help you. Keep your cool. And be neutral.
And you have had somebody fill in for you because of a scheduling conflict. You had
Correct.
a conference to go to.
Yep.
Not to give you, they did great. Actually, that meeting was very short.
Yep. It's tough being the new guy or girl because, I liken it to the substitute teacher.
Yes.
They're going to work you. The kids are going to work you. My first night, I got worked. That's the way it happens.
Who was the previous person before you?
He moved to Dunstable.
And
Martin Betts was before him.
Oh, so it wasn't a long tenured.
I don't think it was. He was selectman in Dunstable. The name eludes me right now.
Sure. Okay.
I'll call you tomorrow, and it'll come right to me.
It'll come right back to you.
Yep.
So, would you say you've been the longest tenured?
It's possible. I would check with some of the older folk in town as you look at me as one of the older folk. It's possible.
I didn't say older. I said longest tenured.
Yeah,
longest tenured.
It's very possible. It just fits my schedule. It just works. A couple nights a year. It keeps me involved at some level. I enjoy it.
Besides being the town moderator and sitting on the zoning board, what else do you do for a living?
I run the family business now. I raise guinea pigs for research. That's what I do. So I guess I'm a farmer.
You're a farmer.
Yeah, I buy a lot of grain and a lot of shavings. Yeah, research really started in the Boston area, and we're part of that.
Got it. Is there anything else that you want to add? Maybe encourage residents as we head into town meeting, this town meeting and the fall?
Get involved. Your class last year, I'd really like to give a nice little segue for your, was it 6 classes that you
We
did?
did 10, the Civic
10?
Leadership Academy, yeah.
Yeah, Leadership Academy. I was a piece of it, and it was fun, and you got some fruit out of that, folks that have now gotten involved. Tyngsborough needs new, fresh voices. It doesn't take a lot of time. Board of Appeals, 1 night a month. Sometimes the meetings don't even last an hour. Town meeting speaks for itself. 2 nights a year. There's ways to help, and Tyngsborough wants your help, and you get to be part of what's next for Tyngsborough.
All right, Robb Kydd, Town Moderator for the Town of Tyngsborough. Thank you so much for joining us today. And that will do it for the Entering Tyngsborough podcast. Just a reminder, Tyngsborough's annual town meeting is coming up on Tuesday, May 6th at 7 p.m. at the Tyngsborough Elementary School, located at 205 Westford Road. And to learn more about town meeting and local government, you could visit the Town of Tyngsborough's website at tyngsboroughma.gov. For the Town of Tyngsborough, I'm Ronnie Camille. Thanks for listening and watching. Until next time, wishing you the best of goodbyes.